What is going on, YouTube family? It's your boy or your guy or your main man, Pips and Points. And today we're going to be talking about what we always talk about, which is the NAS100. Okay, so I'm going to be letting you know some of the moves that I plan to make from tomorrow, because I haven't done anything today, just because tomorrow I'm going to have more time in the markets, so I can kind of really spend a lot of time playing around with the different time frames just to get the most out of the market from tomorrow. So I didn't do anything today. I did a little something yesterday, you know, I did 2 trades yesterday, right? It was around the top area. My stop was really tight, and I got closed out twice. So in total I lost about 80 pips, which is no big deal really, because tomorrow I'm planning on getting that all back plus interest. And in this video I'm going to talk to you about how I plan on doing it. Okay, so we're just going to turn on all the work that we did from last week, from Monday, what we talked about and how we're planning on maneuvering in the whole situation. And as you can see, it's already begun. So if you zoom in into the chart a bit, into this area, this is area of interest right now, okay, we can see that it's already begun its descent down to the downside. Okay, so it's already doing that right now, and that is more or less the game that we're going to be playing tomorrow. Okay, and then it might push up to the upside again, and then obviously it might pull down. But as this shape begins to evolve over the coming days, we're going to know exactly what it plans to do, right? So first things first that I will be sharing with you is, for example, if you was thinking about taking a sell now, what the risk will be, right? And this is what some of the stuff I plan to do from tomorrow. Okay, and like I always say in all my videos, I am not a financial advisor and I'm not giving you financial advice. This is purely for educational entertainment purposes only. If you plan on using any of the information in this video as an investment, you do so at your own risk. The best thing to do is to seek a financial advisor, and he or she will give you financial advice. All right, so with this move that's about to fly down, okay, and I'm predicting that it's going to keep heading down until it gets to this zone over here, right? In order to safely protect yourself, and when I mean safely, this is not a given, it's not a guarantee, it does not mean that your stop will not get hit, all right? You will need an average of a stop of around 400 pips if you was to enter right now at this specific moment, where price is currently at 12.529.75. You would need roughly 400 pip stop to hold this if you wanted to ride all this down on a day. But how I plan on doing it is my stop is not going to be anywhere near this size, all right? It's going to be a little bit less than that. So in order for me to achieve that goal, I'm going to need to go into a lower time frame. So in a lower time frame, I can turn around and say, okay, I want to stop a little bit more humble, a little bit more respectable, something that I could definitely take, and I'll be considering a stop of say 150 pips, right? But however, even 150 pips, in my opinion, is still quite large. It's still quite large, right? Even though I know with a fair degree of certainty the price it is going to push down, because it has produced a lower high and this is the higher high, right, according to this particular structure, and this is the highest high in that particular structure. So this is the higher high in this overall structure. So if I go into a bit of a higher time frame, you're going to see what I mean. So okay, well, let me go back into the hourly because I think that makes a bit more sense. So let's get rid of this for a minute. Let's get rid of that. And let's get rid of that. Okay. So this here is the higher high in regards to this structure that we're looking at, right? So this is the higher high. This is this too is it's a relative high, but it's one that we will just ignore for now, because this one here is the next high and it's lower. So overall, I would say the trajectory of market right now is pointing downwards. And if you go into a higher time frame, the day, we can see that it is doing that. So tomorrow, when market opens, I would expect some kind of pullback to the upside, okay? And then it will continue its trajectory down to the downside, all right? So I'm planning on catching all of that and the kind of rewards that I'm hoping to get. So let's just say we enter in somewhere from about here somewhere, right? We're just saying for saying's sake that's what happens, okay? Let me just make sure we get the measurement right. We're looking at a potential 728 pips in this one move, okay? That's a possible profit for us if we play this correctly, all right? Because even though we're saying these are the numbers and all the good things that obviously people like to say and hear, there is still an element of it could move against us, because obviously you could get a situation like what this wick produced. It goes all the way up, shuts out all of your stops, and then comes all the way back down again. That could easily happen. So that is something that we definitely want to make sure that we avoid as I play the markets tomorrow. All right, so I think this is what's going to happen. Price is going to come down to about this level, no lower than this level, okay, or maybe to about here somewhere. Okay, and if it does, and I mean if it wicks down to this zone right here and we're able to catch it all, that's fantastic. That is 1060 pips for us, so that is really good. Okay, that's something that we definitely want. But however, we're just going to keep it a little bit respectable. Don't get too greedy, you know what I mean? Just keep it a little bit respectable, and we just say 700 pips is relatively decent, you know what I mean? We can work with that. And then once it gets to this level, then we wait to see what it's going to do. Is it going to push back up here again? And if it does, fantastic. We go in, and then obviously we grab some more pips and some more points. So now that I've gotten that covered in regards to what I think market is going to do tomorrow, okay, let's jump into the fundamentals in regards to what else has been going on or what else will be coming up in the coming days and weeks. So first place that we look is going to be Forex Factory. Okay, now Forex Factory is a great place to get resources in regards to what is happening in the market at any given moment. So we're just going to hit refresh on this for now. Just hit a quick little refresh and let's see what information it gives us. So the ISM manufacturing PMI came in positive, so it came in really good for market. So what was forecast was 54.4, and what came out was 56.1. Okay, so that's good for markets. The JOLTS job openings was forecast at 11.29 million. The previous was 11.86 million. And what's come out now is 11.40 million. So it's not as good as the previous. It's actually lower than the previous. Okay, so if we then look at this information just as it is, right? Because this is all US based. It's only about the US market, right? Nothing else. And we go back into the NAS, we can kind of see why this is like that. Okay, why this is like that, right? Okay, I've just got so many NAS charts open, it's just ridiculous. So this was the other one that I've got open. As you can see, all the lines are a bit different, they're blue. And then this is the other one that we got. There's just so many charts that I've got open at the top, it's crazy. But anyway, let's get back to what we was talking about. But that's the most important part. Okay, so we understand what's going on here, right? Why it's falling down in the way that it is. And we can expect it to carry on to do so for tomorrow. Okay, we can expect that to carry on. So now let's go into the heat map. So let's take a look at the heat map and let's see what is going on there. So heat map, most of it is looking a bit red at the moment. Okay, so Microsoft, Google, and Apple and Amazon are all relatively neutral right now, but all the rest are flaming red. Okay, so let's go back into the NAS. Let's go back into the NAS. Let's bring out the smaller version of this watch list, and we can see roughly the majority of these stocks are in the red, but a couple of the big boys are all in the green. Okay, but the numbers is not really impressing me, so I know we're going to need to take a closer look to see exactly what is going on, so we know what kind of shape everything is going to be in for tomorrow. So first things first, let's look at Tesla. Okay, so Tesla looks like, let's have a quick look, see where everything is. So Tesla's broken a high. Okay, and this is a high over here, and this is now a low. So at some point tomorrow when the US markets open, okay, we're gonna know what's happening. So actually let me put this on a day, because the day is gonna be much better than how it's looking now. Right, just reduce the MACD a bit. Okay, so we now need to see what Tesla is going to do. And what I think Tesla is going to do, okay, I think Tesla ultimately is going to make his way back up to this level right here. Okay, this level is looking more and more realistic that this is going to be where Tesla is going to go. But before it does that, it's going to play around for a bit, right? So I am assuming, and like I said, you got to do your own research on what I'm telling you, because I'm not perfect. I do make mistakes, so you have to do your own research, double check it, and make sure it makes sense. If you decide that based on what you're going to be watching right now, you're going to make a move on it, I don't recommend you do that, but people are going to do what they're going to do. So hence why I say do the research. In this video, there is a description to a blog site, okay, where I've actually put together some books that you can pick up from Amazon. If you have a Kindle, obviously you can get most of them for free, especially if the Kindle is doing a deal. But if you don't know anything about this, I'll strongly recommend you go down there and pick up those books and learn the technicals, because the technicals, I've read those books and they've helped me, hence why I'm able to make videos like this and speak with confidence in regards to decisions I'm planning on making, because I possess that information, and that information is in the blogger the blogger link that I've put in the video in the description, that you can go to and check out for yourself. All right, so that is on you to go check it out. Whether you check it out or don't check it out, that is all on you, but I've put it there because I want to help you out, because this stuff is relatively easy once you know how to do it. It's not hard at all, but if you don't know how to do it, trust me, it is the hardest thing you've ever done in your life, especially when you're watching yourself lose money. It's painful. So I'm just trying to help you guys out. Whether you do it or not is up to you. Like I said, if money grows on trees for you, then by all means, don't read them. Just play the markets. If money don't go on trees for you, then go and get the knowledge. Okay, so now let's jump into Google. So Google, as we can see, Google is kind of doing what I thought it was going to do, okay, but it hasn't done it yet, so I'm not going to claim this, right? But it is holding this structure that is in at the moment. It is holding this pattern, okay? So it's at the top at the moment, and I'm looking at how it's looking right now, and it's only one candle at the moment, okay? So it's not even enough. But if I was to make a guess, make a decision, like somebody said, hey, listen, you have to make a decision on Google today, what do you think is going to happen? I would say, based on what I'm looking at right now, okay, based on what I'm looking at right now, I'm expecting Google to do this. I'm expecting Google to make his way down here. That is what I'm expecting. Whether it does it or not, we find that out tomorrow when market opens. But so far, all of this is supporting the trajectory of where the NAS is currently at the moment. So now let's go into Amazon. Okay, and Amazon at the moment, it has just come out of a low and it's now creating a high. So with this high that it's now creating, okay, at some point it's going to have to do a pullback, and when it pulls back, the only thing that we're interested in is where it's going to land, right? Now this is not actually a high, this is a low, okay, and what it's going to create is going to be a high. So where it pulls back to, right? So what the shape that we are actually expecting from Amazon is we need Amazon to fulfill two moves, okay? Move number 1 is where it pulls back down to, okay, and move number 3 is where it pulls up from, okay. Once we have that move, then we know exactly what it is that we're looking at. If we're looking at a continuation of an uptrend, it's going to come back to this region again, or if it's going to keep flying down lower. And if it's going to keep flying down low, then what that basically tells me is that in regards to the NAS, okay, these levels start becoming where I think NAS is going to go to. So the first level I will put down is 9643.47, and the painful level, and this is the level that actual investors don't want it to go to, is 6660.06, right? It can do that, right? It can definitely do that. I'm not expecting it to do that immediately, but it can definitely do that, and this is the zone that I'm keeping my eye on, right? So let's get back into it. So this is what Amazon's looking at. Now Amazon so far is not supporting the direction of the NAS. It's actually in the opposite direction. It's pushing up even higher. So we have to see what happens tomorrow, right? What happens tomorrow is going to tell us a lot in regards to what it's going to do. And like I said, well, I haven't said it yet, but I'm about to say it now. If Google goes red and Amazon goes red and Apple goes full-blown red, then NAS is 100% going to be pulling down, okay? But obviously we're going to cover that some more. We're going to look at how everything is looking, and then I'm going to let you know my thoughts, my opinion on them. So first things first is Netflix, right? And Netflix is doing the move that I know is going to be breaking down even further. It's going to be falling down even further. So we got first break over here, it dropped, okay, and now we've got a second break. Well, not a second break, but we've got a second structure emerging that is most likely going to break. It doesn't always break to the downside, by the way. It's very important that you know this, but there is a good chance it is going to be breaking down, right? But it's in the shape now, so we just got to keep an eye on it, all right? So that too is supporting NAS is going to be falling, okay, which in the structure that it's in right now, it helps us. Okay, so now we're looking at Apple, okay, and what Apple is doing right now, in my opinion, looks like a consolidation, okay, but that could change tomorrow. But it looks like a consolidation, right? This is what we got going on here, and how the consolidation looks. So with Apple, I'm going to need to go into a lower time frame to get the overall picture. Okay, so I was right. It is consolidating, and it's consolidating to the upside, okay? And it's produced a lower high in regards to this overall structure that is now created. If you look at it on the hourly, this is the lower high right here. So in all fairness, I would say Apple is about to break down, right? I would say Apple is about to break down, right, which supports where I think the NAS is going to go. And if you look at the overall structure of Apple at the bottom, it looks like it's actually forming its own channel with a high likelihood that it will be breaking downwards, right? And this is it right here. And if it did a little squiggly little line, you can say it's going to drop down, then push up, then drop down, then maybe do something like this, and then come all the way back down again, right? That is what I think. But like I said, in the coming days is where we're really going to figure out what Apple is actually trying to do. So now let's look at Facebook. Now I mentioned earlier that Facebook was going into a squeeze, and I didn't like it one bit, right? That was my opinion on that, okay? And now what we're seeing is that it's come out of a squeeze, but it's gone into a range. This is the range right here. So this is what Facebook is doing right now, and this supports the theory that we're looking at that is already beginning to take shape right now, which is the NAS pulling down, okay? So Facebook at the moment is supporting that theory, all right? So far, looking at what we've looked at, we can see there's a lot more reds that's about to happen, even though everything is looking green and neutral at the moment. It looks like this is what's going to be happening. It's about to go down, all right? And the same thing with Microsoft. Microsoft has gone into a channel, okay? So Microsoft's in the channel right now, and this is Microsoft right now in the channel, in a channel. Okay, now as I do stuff like this, showing you how I plan on navigating the NAS, if you find this content useful in any way and you want to see more content like this where we just talk exclusively about the NAS100, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification, okay, and hit the like if you find the content useful, and help the channel grow. Do you know what I mean? So this is what we got going on in regards to Microsoft, right? So this is Microsoft, and we can see Microsoft wants to push down. This is a high, okay, and it needs to break above this level for this whole thing to be an uptrend in regards to this move that is in right now. So you need to break that and then pull back down again, and then obviously if you're a Microsoft investor, then that will be a good place to think about jumping in after you've consulted all the relevant people you need to consult if you need that kind of support. So I'm expecting Microsoft to come down some more, right, and do that and then push up. And this structure in regards to Microsoft, this structure that I'm seeing here in regards to Microsoft supports the theory of when it gets down here. So if you go to Microsoft, we can see where it is. It's about to pull down, which if you combine everything that we're seeing in regards to these stocks now, strengthens the idea that NAS is going to be flying down. And then when it gets to this level, it's most likely going to turn around. Okay, and all of these little stocks here is going to help us determine it so we can get in nice and early. So whilst other individuals are looking for supply and demand zone, which are important, we can have a really good idea as to where those locations are going to be based on overall market structure. Okay, where they're going to be. So we already know liquidity is sitting down here. Okay, liquidity is sitting down here, so price is going to come down at some point to stop everybody out that's taking buys that are assuming it's going to go up forever, and completely neglected the concept that this has gone into a channel, because people do that, not experienced traders, because they would have known this is happening, but it's mainly the newbies that will be doing this, the retail traders that have just jumped in, and they really, it's not they don't know what they're doing, but they don't know what they're doing. Right? So they've jumped in and they're creating liquidity pool down here, which is going to be good for us, because as market grabs their liquidity, we can jump in and grab a little something for ourselves. So what was I just going on about? Right, Microsoft. Okay, Nvidia, and look at that, it's also gone into a bit of a shape itself. All right, so with everything I'm showing you here, you're going to start to see like a little pattern is starting to emerge in regards to how market really likes to behave and how market likes to move, in regards to what it does and how it does it. So once again, we can see here that Nvidia too is gone into that structure. It's basically mimicking the NAS, right? So this would be my thinking, no brainer. It's doing this. Okay, that's what it's most likely going to do, and we can see that same structure over here. We can see the same structure over here, the same thing right over here, and we can see the same thing right over here. Right, it just keeps doing that. It goes into a range, and as soon as it goes into range, there's a very good chance it's going to do something. Now at this location, that would have been hard to spot. Why? Because this too was another price action level. So you could have been like, okay, cool, I'm going to buy here and I'm going to sell here, and then you'd have got taken out. It would not have been your fault. It's just the market doing what it's doing. But once you saw this level, it would have been a no-brainer as to what to do and how to do it. Okay, and now we've got the same thing going on over here, which gives us a very high probability that price will be pushing down. Okay, which too supports what we think is going to happen with the NAS. All the information that these little stocks are telling us is helping us paint a picture in regards to what the NAS is most likely going to do. And once you combine everything that you're watching and learning through my channel, and you add that into supply and demand zones with fractals and consolidation levels, and what's the other one? So fractals, supply and demand. There's another one I just can't remember right now. Okay, when you combine it all, you have a lot of information as to how to correctly execute trades in the market and walk away with good solid gains. Okay, good solid gains. And it's not as hard as people think it is, okay, but you do need to know what it is that you're doing. It's like the first time you're driving a car, all right? It seems really hard when you're first driving a car for the first time, okay, trying to figure out what everything is. I mean, depending on where you are, if you learn to drive a manual, right, it is super hard to learn, but then once you get it, it's the easiest thing in the world. That's what trading's like. Hard to understand, but once you understand it, you're like, I can't believe I didn't understand it. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those. So now let's look at PayPal, okay? And one thing that you're beginning to see with everything that I'm showing you right now is the same structures keep emerging over and over and over again. Here's another one. Okay, so I'm not even going to draw the direction where I think this is going to go in, but it's clear as day where this is most likely going to go down into. It's going to break down. Okay, it's going to produce a new lower low, right? Because we have a lower high over here, we have another lower high over here. These areas over here are liquidity zones, so price will be returning back there to take everybody's stops that are just sitting in comfortable sell orders, okay, because market loves to do that. It will just keep doing that. So as you can see, it had a nice supply zone over here, okay. Price came down, went up, took everybody out, okay, then gave a false sense of security saying, hey, I'm going to go up. So if you took buys at this level, then you would have got stuck. It would have brought you all the way back down again, and then so on, so forth, so on, so forth. But these little traps, you can't avoid them, okay? And that's what a channel like mine and many others like mine is here to help you to understand, okay? So, Pepsi. And as we can see from the drawing I did, this was a while back. Price has broken structure. It's pushed all the way up to the upside, okay, and now it's breaking structure again. So now what we have are lower highs. We have lower highs at these levels, right? Lower highs right here. These are all the lower highs, okay, and then we have all the lower lows. So what does that tell me? Somewhere around this level, there's a very good chance price is going to try to push up to the upside. It's going to come down, it's going to go up, it's going to come down again, possibly to around this level, create a double bottom, and then boom, shoot all the way back up again. And if we time that, if you time that, right? So I've just done this without even paying attention to this. And what does this say? This is earnings, okay? So when earnings is released, which is going to be around this level somewhere, when the earning report comes out, we can expect one or two things. So let's just rejig this a bit, okay, to time it in with earnings, right? So it can either do that on earnings, or we can go boom all the way down to the bottom, right? Because like I say, this structure usually breaks up to the upside, but it doesn't mean it's going, when you see this appear, that it's going to break to the upside, okay? That's not how this works at all. Mostly it does that, but the odd occasion it just breaks down. That happens too. So now let's look at EA. Now EA has done what I expected it to do, right? So it's broken through the high. It's done that. So this was the high. It's broken through that. So now what I'm expecting now from EA is a pullback to around this level, or possibly higher, okay? And this pullback supports this theory in regards to the NAS pulling down to this zone. It does that for us automatically, okay? So that's just my opinion on that one. And then we look at eBay, and as you can see, we have a V. We have a V, and this would be the shape that I will go with based on that V. So the shape would be something like this, okay? So I'm actually waiting for this to come down for me to confirm that low, but for the sake of this video, we're just going to say it's here. we're just going to say it's here, but it's actually not there because we need this to land somewhere and then begin to pull up, and that's when it's going to tell us what it actually wants to do. And just to show you another channel again, okay, there's another channel right here on a smaller scale. There's another channel, and then it breaks, boom, and then there you got the red, and then it forms another channel over here, okay, and then it breaks. So for example, if I was to do this on a lower time frame, you're gonna see exactly what I mean if you haven't grasped it by now. Grasped it by now, right? That probably still gonna sound wrong either way, but it is what it is. So look, like, it's perfectly in the zone. Channel break, channel break, right? Always happens like that. So we're gonna jump back into the day. We're gonna go into the NAS again, okay, and then we can see what is happening with the NAS. So let's look at the NAS, say on the 15-minute. Let's go into the 15-minute and see what's happening. So as we can see with the NAS on the 15-minute, all right, this is what it's currently doing. This is what it's currently doing right now, NAS on the 15-minute, right? So if this breaks down, we change its overall drawing so it fits in. We change the overall layout that we've got, but for now we're just going to do it like this, right? And this is just a guess as to what I think is going to happen, but I would know more tomorrow because this is the 15-minute, so I'm going to have a much clearer picture as to what kind of structure it creates. So tonight, it could do something like this, right? And if it is doing something like this, right? If it is doing something like this, this zone right here is an order block on the 15-minute. It's an order block on the 15-minute. So we're just going to rejig this drawing a little bit, okay? Just rejig it a little bit, just so that you guys have an idea as to what I'm talking about. So this is an order block on the 15-minute. So I'm just going to put this level right in the middle of it, right? So we know it's there, okay? So if I was looking for sales, I'll be looking at it at this level. And at this level, if I enter correctly, I will have a small stop of about 48 pips. And I could basically do one or two things. I could say, okay, I'm going to hold it until structure breaks if I'm confident structure is going to break. Or I can be like, you know what? I don't know if structure is going to break or not. I don't know if it's going to break or not, but I just want to take what I can. I just want to take what the market is going to give me, and a potential target of what I could expect from the market within that 15-minute window, okay, 15-minute window is 137 pips, right? Which is not bad, If I hold that, and I say I want to ride it to the downside, then we're looking at roughly between 700 and 900 pips, right? That's what I would estimate it as, between 700 and 900 pips. Okay, so that is my thinking and my planning and my strategy from tomorrow, because tomorrow literally is the Majesty's Diamond Jubilee. So everybody's off work. I don't have to be in the office all day, so I got one or two options. I can sit there and watch everything that's going on tomorrow, go out, have fun, and do the rest of it, or I can just sit here and just spend a bit of time with the markets. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to spend some time with the market. So I'm literally going to be on here. I have the TV on in the background, catching up with what's going on and whatever it is that they're doing. And whilst all of that is happening, I'll be aiming to collect as many pips and points as possible. Okay, so guys, that is it for today's video. If you found the content useful and you want to see more content like this, exclusive analysis on NAS in real time, actionable information that you can use to help yourself. Obviously, in conjunction with you doing your own personal research on the side, I would say do the smart thing, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification so whenever I release a video, you're amongst one of the first to see it. And if you just like the information because you think the information is nice, it's decent, it's a job well done, hit the like button or drop a comment. Either way, I appreciate you for doing that. So with that said, I want to humbly thank you for giving me your time. And this is Pips and Points signing out. You guys have an awesome evening, morning, afternoon. See you guys in the next video, which will be on Friday.